All right, waiting here for the recording to start. Recording has started counting. Welcome back to what does rhyme with hippopotamus? Hippopotamus, hippopotamus, hippopotamus,
Anonymous.
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 Oh, I forgot the intro. Maybe we do the intro at the end.
Okay. Yes.
We'll do the outro now. Welcome back to Twin Tarot. I'm David.
And I'm Gary.
And Gary apparently wants to know what rhymes with hippopotamus.
There's just so many words. They just come flying off the tongue, the tip of the tongue.
Yeah. So anonymous. I'll let you tell a story. You've done the research on it. I'm just
okay. So I was going through the comments today, and people were saying that Anonymous was posting information. So I went out there and checked out what they had. And
do they have a name and a byline, dateline, and the author of the?
No, yes, sadly they don't, and also a home address and a cell phone number, right?
Exactly.
Basically, the message they were sharing was that the 2024 election was stolen, that it was stolen digitally. And then they kind of cited a couple of instances where people allowed unauthorized access into the voting systems and so on and so forth. How in Rockland County, 0 votes for Kamala Harris, and now they're doing a audit of the ballots. It's basically no receipts. It's I'm not arguing with anything they're saying, but they aren't. All they're doing is telling us what we think we know without any kind of receipts to support it.
So I've got 2 things I want to bring up. One, the 2024 election was stolen. Here is a feather. Knocked me over with it.
That just knocked you over, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Peacock feathers are very popular amongst the cats in this house.
Yeah.
And 2, so they're telling us the 2024 election was stolen. They're giving suggestions how it might have been stolen, and they offer absolutely no proof whatsoever, hard evidence to back it up. How are they different than a couple of idiots reading tarot cards on YouTube?
Yeah, and you can get any.
Why would anybody even bother paying attention? They should just switch to cat videos at this point. Life is a little more entertaining that way.
But in an interesting parallel, and of course they're saying, hey, people are tired. There's so much fatigue, tired of fighting. But they're kind of their messages. You got to keep fighting and demanding recounts because the chain of custody is going to start getting more and more suspect. Or it's as it gets older, it's tougher to keep the chain of custody. And the votes are still there. No one's destroyed them. So the faster we act, the better. But in an interesting parallel, my wife, who is not a conspiracy theorist, who as our relationship has gone on, we've been married, it'll be 21 years this year. She's become more conservative, and I've become far more liberal since, over the last 21 years. But even she's looking around going, this doesn't make sense to me. You look at the rallies, at Trump's rallies versus Kamala Harris's rallies. And then you look at all the people protesting versus the number of people that showed up for Trump's little birthday parade with the squeaky tank. Yeah. She goes, this doesn't make sense to me. It's not making sense. And this is someone who's not political at all, someone who probably leans a little towards the right because she's very fiscally conservative. And even she's looking at this saying, yeah, this does not seem right. And when you get some person that's really kind of doesn't have a dog in the fight, starting to really question and challenge something that no one's ever questioned and challenged historically about our elections. Our elections have always been assumed to be free and fair, and there was no reason not to believe that. Even she is starting to question the legitimacy of this election, which I find interesting.
Now, the hot rumor is Anonymous is supposed to drop some information in and around July 4th. To which I say, what is the company charter or their bylaws prevent them from dropping information sooner? Are the investors of the company and the board concerned about sending out information before the quarter ends?
Yeah,
Good heavens.
When we did the reading, we said it was July 4th, but based on when they released the reading, because I think when I finally saw the recording, it was probably 3 or 4 days old. So it may be closer to June 30th, July 1st. Yeah, they may have a quarterly filing deadline, and maybe they don't want to release the information until after that deadline has passed. You know?
Yes, the hacker bureaucracy and hacker red tape is difficult to cut through.
But they could still show up with receipts. They could just be priming the pump, as it were. Who knows why the timeline is. I mean, we were kind of questioning that when we did the reading a couple of weeks ago. It's like, what are you waiting for? If you've got information, throw it out there. We are all ears like a mule.
Yeah. Good times. So it's going to be a reading on Anonymous?
It is.
How exciting.
Do you want to start? Would you like me to start?
You can go ahead and start.
Okay.
I'm so excited. Actually, you know what? I'm starting on this because I'm so excited and so enthused about what Anonymous has to say that they can't possibly say it until the birthday of the United States or the birthday of the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, or at least in the next week.
or at least Q3 of 2025. I mean, the Anonymous stock will probably, maybe they can file with the SEC to release that because it might be, insider trading with information. Okay, sarcasm and snark aside, what the hell's going on with Anonymous? Are they actually sitting on any information, or are they just jerking our chain? 5 of coins. Well, that's not exciting starts. Being left out on the outsiders looking in. With the Queen of Swords, I'm wondering if they have concepts of data, maybe that what they had access to, they don't have access to at this point. Temperance, okay, how did Orson Welles refer to it for the Paul Masson wine commercials?
We shall release no wine before it's time.
I think that's what we got here. We are not releasing wine before it's time. They're sitting on a treasure trove of data. They're talking about releasing it. Things haven't got. I guess they're waiting for certain things to happen that haven't come in place yet. They're waiting. They don't like waiting. I think they might be as impatient as me.
Yeah, I was going to say, like one of the readers in this video.
Yeah. There's a timing thing that it's just like they don't like it, but they're waiting. Yay, I can relate to that. They will broadcast it. It will come. And they're going to be pretty freaking smug when it happens. Why? Because they got the goods. All right. Whatever. Apparently, according to these cards, Anonymous is sitting on the goods, and when they reveal the information, brother, will it be a reveal?
Woohoo! Okay, so how about for entertainment purpose only, will people actually act on the information, or will they just sit around going harumph, harumph?
It's just typical libtard. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, there's so much fatigue. I mean, it's got to be really compelling to get people off their assets, right? Okay, entertainment purposes only. Okay, so what do we got? Well, are people going to act on it? Well, if you wanted some action, that's probably as good a foundational card as you're going to want. The Queen of Wands.
Hey, I want to throw something out to you. Watching some other readers, I haven't confirmed it yet, but I think it was Libby was actually mentioning it. Queen is kind of like internal, and King is like external. You can think of Queen as being like the internal action you take,
yes,
and the King would be external. Now,
I've heard her say that.
Yes, and I'm not saying that to derail it, but it's something you and I don't typically do, and it's sort of like think of it that way as you're going through this one, because it might impact how you interpret what's going on.
Okay, so the Queen of Wands would be, the Queen is like the multitasker, the one taking the actions. So this is taking personal actions. This could be protest. This could be writing letters. This could be demanding manual recounts in those swing states, for example, or even some of the states that had really unusual voting actions, like in New York. The challenge is the Four of Pentacles. This is kind of like conserving and trying to hold on to everything that you can. This is also kind of like pacing yourself. It's how much do you have to, how much energy, how much things of value do you have to expend on these actions? The energy underneath is the Ten of Swords. Oh, Christ. So yeah, the Ten of Swords, what it means is they've done as much damage as they can do. They can't hurt you anymore. It's the end of that cycle. And that's kind of where we're at. It's like, hey, Trump's in office. He's doing all the damage he can. If we're challenging it, what is it going to hurt us anymore, right? They've already taken away and attacked everything. We've got the Gestapo running around chasing after brown people in blue cities. They're taking away people's health care and their other benefits. Is it going to hurt to go ahead and start taking some action and demanding that the government review the voting data? In the past, you got the Hangman, not being happy in the situation you're in, looking at things in a different perspective. Biden's like this, the voting is secure. In 2020, when Trump was running around like a headless chicken saying the election was rigged, we're saying, no, it wasn't. The voting is secured. Now we're kind of looking in the past, we're looking at this like, is it really secured? Did Trump have a point? And Dave had a very interesting insight. I'm going to take a quick aside, Dave. You want to come on up with me? Dave was in a relationship with someone who was a classic narcissist.
Malignant narcissist.
Yeah.
And let's get it right. There's so many different flavors.
And what was interesting was and I've shared this before, but I'll share it again because it's kind of part of this whole reading, is that we tend to accept the positive. If someone tells you something, you tend to accept that, yeah, they're telling you the truth or mostly the truth. And in this relationship, Dave finally found peace and he found answers by assuming exactly the opposite. It's like, okay, stop with the assumption that this person's telling me the truth and now assume that they're lying to me. And then if you assume they're lying, does the story start to make more sense? And in that particular relationship, all sorts of puzzle pieces started falling into place once David changed his perspective and had a different perspective on things. That why would I believe that this person's telling me the truth? They've been lying through their teeth. And once you assume that, everything falls into place.
Now, to put that in perspective, this happened well after the relationship was over.
Yes.
It did not happen during the relationship. It happened during the relationship. It probably would have ended more quickly. During the relationship, gaslighting obviously going on with all the lying. And it's just like things didn't make sense. And I couldn't keep track of it's like you said one thing one day, another thing the other day, and I just assumed the person was an idiot because they just made up stuff. It didn't occur to me they were lying.
Yes.
Because I don't lie, so I don't think of other people lying. And once out of it, and you look back, it's like kind of the realization that, holy crap, that was a lie, that was a lie. I was like, if I take everything this person ever told me that I thought was true and called a lie, I'd probably be right about 95% of the time.
Yeah, the hit rate would have been exceptional.
Yeah.
and so, using that as background, David had shared that, the reason why Trump might have been saying the 2020 election was stolen was because he was already cheating in the 2020 election.
Projection.
And he didn't cheat good enough.
Yes, exactly. They didn't cheat enough. So whatever system they had in place was good for 2 to 3% of the vote, not for 10.
And so if you stop and you think about it from that perspective, change your perspective, not that the voting was legitimate and Biden won, but that the voting wasn't legitimate. And despite Trump cheating, Biden still won.
Right.
And if you start with that as your premise, then everything Trump has been doing for the last 4 years makes a hell of a lot of sense.
Yeah, because the Democrats cheated more than he did. He was really pissed off about that because he was supposed to win. He was told he was going to win.
He was told that if he had 73 million votes or something in that ballpark, there's no way he could lose. So it's very possible that they had the election rigged to get him those kind of 73 million votes.
Why do you think they wanted to go into the software for the voting machines?
Yes.
Why do you think they wanted to take a voting machine and go in the software? Because they were looking for how the Democrats overcame the Republican or whoever is changing the votes, and it seems to be favoring the GOP. So yes. They wanted to look at the software. They wanted to see, was this just a machine that wasn't properly programmed, or did somebody hack into it and override the programming? They didn't know the answer to that. And the only way to do that was to get in the machines and inspect it, because if they really did override it, then they're going to blame the Democrats for cheating. And if they didn't override it or something like that, then they had to figure out a way to overcome it. Welcome Elon Musk into the picture.
Yep.
Oh, I know what your problem is. This cheating was only turned up to 3. Let's turn it up to 11.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Yes.
And then what ends up happening is you get Rockland County, where like in 15 districts in that county, Kamala Harris got exactly 0 votes. And when does that happen?
Yeah. So Dave and I are not really big on conspiracy theories. That's why
I am huge on conspiracy theories.
That's why we did a couple videos called Conspiracy Corner. I can't wait to do a couple more of them.
Yeah, we do. When we do delve into the conspiracy theory, we at least acknowledge.
Yeah. But it's very interesting, because if you change your perspective and you start with the fact that, okay, Trump cheated in 2020 and he still lost, then things start making a hell of a lot more sense.
There's indication it happened in 2016 too.
He's not a complete moron. He's really outraged because he got out-cheated.
Exactly. The man who cheats at golf.
Yeah, exactly.
Cheated, and that drives him bananas.
Yeah, could you imagine he lost his own tournament after he cheated like crazy on it? He would be really pissed. It's like, there's no way he could have beat me when I was cheating.
Right.
Okay, back down to this. Okay, so will we take action? So we got to look at this at a different perspective. And then we got to start sharing that information. This kind of ties in with Dave's lesson to be learned from his anonymous. The information is going to be coming out. And then we've got to find that path forward. Find our own truth. We need to investigate this. This is kind of Anonymous's message is, you've got to demand the investigations. Are we going to act? Yeah, the information is going to come out, and then the search for the truth is going to start. The lesson to be learned is the 7 of Wands. You got to keep fighting. You got to, it's not just this is defending democracy, but it's also defending the will of the voter. And I got the same outcome as Dave. Hopes, wishes, dreams fulfilled. That's really actually pretty fascinating that we ended with the same card. So we've got. Do you want to throw a qualifier, see if I get the same one?
You throw the qualifier, not me.
Okay, I know.
You're reading.
Let's see. So we got the outcome is hopes, wishes, dreams fulfilled. Let's get a little more information on that. We got to keep fighting, even though we're tired. There's a victory to be had, and you probably had someone stealing the votes. This is definitely our stolen election card, the 5 of Swords.
Well, it's about, you're tired, but this is like basically for all the marbles, as it were. the term you're looking for, as he was describing that, is projection.
Yes.
Projection is, and this happened one time during the relationship. She accused me of cheating on her. And it's like after a while, I got so annoyed with her. I said, I think you're only accusing me of cheating on you because you're cheating on me. And so who are you cheating with? And she had kind of like got taken aback. I said, yeah, you've been out with this person. You're cheating with them. And she's like, she started backing up. Her eyes were wide, like the reveal happened. And I had her on her heels for a minute, and then I just let her go. Like, I didn't want to deal with her because I was just messing around. I just like, fine, you know what? You're going to accuse me of that. I'm going to accuse you of it.
Yep.
I didn't expect the results. Now I should have pursued it further because I had her on the ropes. But yeah, that was my first introduction to lying, gaslighting, and then projection.
Yep.
And it served me well since then. Yeah. Maybe I had to deal with the obvious malignant, and then I had to deal with something a little bit more covert afterwards. Again, because I have this assumption that when somebody makes a decision for the family, they're doing it in the best interest of the family, not in their best interest. No, and then the family's best interest comes second to that. That's not how I roll. Anyway.
Because the family can't
enough about me.
Okay.
Give me some other information on Anonymous. Whatever you want to tell me. I have no questions. I can't even articulate a question I want to ask. Just give me something. Give me something. Give me anything. What is it that you want to say? There's money involved with it. And people are feeling trapped. This could be about Congress. And there's that Lover's card, which is my outcome. They're sitting on the goods. It involves money and people being held hostage to it. Almost maybe like the RNC, DNC data dump and lack of data dump. They're fighting through it. They're fighting from a position of advantage. They're about to come racing forward with it. They're going to expose the corruption. People are going to resign because of it. It's going to bring the government down, or it's going to bring people down. What they're sitting on is a powder keg. I just don't understand what the
why they haven't.
The only thing that makes sense, because the only other two things happening on in and around July 4th is Independence Day, and when people are feeling somewhat patriotic, and that's when Congress is trying to get their budget passed. Yeah. And it's almost like, are you going to wait till this horrific budget is passed before you start showing everybody who these folks are so they can't do a take back? No take backs at this point. You voted for that bill. You voted to be horrific to people. And now we're going to reveal who owns you. It's going to look like Sterling's talked about this. Some legislation passing, like the NASCAR legislation, where all the senators and House members have to like wear outfits that with patches on it that state who all their sponsors are. So you know who's representing big oil and pharma and big tech and things along those lines.
Yeah. More to come.
Yeah.
Apparently.
More runs to come. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting our channel. We do appreciate it.
Yeah, if you like these videos, give the thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell. We'll wake you up at midnight Pacific time with the new one. We'll be asleep, but you'll be awake. And
what if I don't like these videos? Then what should I do?
If you don't like these videos, there are plenty of other videos to watch. YouTube is.
Should I go to one of the other fantastic Twin Tarot channels out there?
You could do that, but they do not absorb blue liquid nearly as well as Twin Tarot.
They don't get your blood system as fast either. Well, what else would I be missing if I went to those other Twin Tarot channels?
Well, for example, you would miss me saying thank you, Ruth Urbeck, for the very kind contribution you made to the channel. Thank you,
Ruth Urbeck gave a kind contribution to the channel. You might want to rethink that one, Ruth. Return on investment.
And then Maureen O'Brien, who also made a kind contribution to the channel. Hi, Maureen.
Hey, Maureen. Thank you very much. And thank you, Ruth, too. I don't mean to cut you off there. don't let the silliness and snarkiness get in the way of gratitude.
Absolutely. And then I'm going to give one more shout out.
You just stole Marina's line.
What? I did?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Absolutely.
Oh my.
That's a total Marina-ism.
And then I want to give a thank you to Tessa M, who had a couple of suggestions for us to read on. I haven't shared it with David yet, but we will chat about those soon. A lot to do with the ICC and
Looks like a 10 card.
oh, that's looking like a
Let it
legacy card to me.
rain. Play that. Get that lottery ticket out.
Yeah, that reading may have lots of things of value in it. So thank you, Tessa. And
Yeah,
then,
Tessa, you can become one of the new oligarchs. Congratulations.
and then
What do
just
you got for the rest of us?
a card for the rest of us. Oh dear, it's that 5 of Swords. Keep
Mm.
fighting. Don't let them off the hook. Keep fighting.
Except for Tessa, who's going to win like $100 million in the
Yeah,
lottery.
be nice to Tessa though.
Yeah, buy her house in Malibu. Say, you fight away. I'm going to watch the ocean. Life's good. Okay, everyone. Thank you very much. We'll
Thanks,
catch you on
folks.
the next video. Take care.
Bye.